welcome to Community Dialogue, where we explore real issues shaping business and community successes here in Henry County and beyond. I'm Christy Chewning, and today we're talking about economic opportunity through supplier diversity, getting a seat at the table. Supplier diversity is more than a business trend. It creates access, drives innovation, strengthens supply chains, and helps local businesses grow. Joining me today are three outstanding leaders: Donald Lamar, CEO of the DRL Group; Richard Schnitker with the Georgia Small Business Development Center; Morrelle McCrary, CEO of Ramtech PC Solutions. Thank you all for being here. Morrelle, can you tell us a little bit about your company?
Yes, my name is Morrelle McCrary, and I own and operate Ramtech PC Solutions. We're located right downtown McDonough, Georgia, 169 Decatur Road. We provide IT services for small and medium-sized businesses. We focus on IT support, cybersecurity, and IT compliance.
Thank you. Donald?
Good morning. My name is Donald Lamar. I'm the CEO of the DRL Group. We're located in Atlanta, Georgia. My firm, what we specialize in CEO level coaching, as well as fractional business development, specifically in the federal government and local space, and also program development. So we do develop a lot of programs for businesses to come in and learn a little bit more about the supplier group and build those bridges to those procurement professionals.
Thank you. Richard?
Good morning. My name is Richard Schnitker with the Small Business Development Center at Clayton State University. We cover 4 counties: that's Fayette County, Clayton County, Spalding County, and Henry County. There's 2 of us there, are business consultants, but we can work with any business from 1 employee to 500 employees. So the word small, often people look at it as a very small organization, but we can take that up as high as you want to take it until you reach 500. But we're here to help you at all levels of business.
Thank you, guys. Donald, from your perspective, why would companies and public agencies make supplier diversity a priority?
It's extremely important for them to do so because when you're trying to bring in your local suppliers, different perspectives, different initiatives, and that level of diversity tends to bring in a wide variety of services, as well as the ability to do some niche level services that not necessarily every company can do if they don't have a perspective, from a wide, outlook of their experiences.
What business values get overlooked most often?
I think that the most important value for any business that gets overlooked is not only the niche level thinking that they have that they can bring to any type of a problem or maybe a project, is that understanding from the experiences that goes into that niche level thinking often gets overlooked. And so that kind of relates down into the implementation or the execution of that particular job or whatever circumstance that they're working with. And so they have to make sure that that value is captured in a way that kind of contributes to the overall mission or the project that's at hand.
That's a good point. Richard, what are you seeing from small businesses that want to compete but don't know where to begin?
Great question. I would definitely send them to Georgia Tech, the Apex Accelerator program. They specifically are focused on helping small businesses get into that business arena and contracting because it's very difficult. We've had a lot of clients come to our office, and we can help as well as Donald here. And by just helping them get their programs together and understanding what it is, often they come in thinking because they're minority owned or they're women owned, that gives them a leg up in a sense. But the bottom line is their business plan, their financials, their history, how long they've been in doing what they're doing is very important. It's really more of a priority. The rest of it is just paying attention to detail and understanding exactly what you're bidding for, and just don't try to beat yourself up too much. They'll see that, answer the questions, and stay focused.
Yeah, I know in the process of when you're getting ready to do bids or requests for proposals, that can be daunting for a small business the first time to have all of that. So you mentioned the financial readiness and professional proposals, pricing. What else do you think they need in that as that very first time doing a RFP?
Right. So RFP is an interesting challenge as well, right? So preparation often differs difference between being competitive and being disqualified. And if you're not prepared properly and following all the checks and balances and paying real attention to what they're asking for, it could easily disqualify you very quickly. So before responding to any RFP, a business should really read the solicitation carefully. They get in there, they want to go through it very fast, and then they miss questions or they don't think that question's important. Everything in that document is there for a purpose. And so they need to really pay attention to it, especially the mandatory requirements versus the scored requirements, right? So the mandatory is mandatory for a reason, right? It's a top priority. So make sure that they answer those correctly and on point. Confirm they can also meet all compliance items, right? So, and that's where we can come in and also help making sure that their insurance is good. If it's a bonding requirements, we can help them get that set up, certifications, timelines, making sure they follow it. And again, they will set timelines for specific things. And if they don't pay attention to those timelines and they miss it, they're pretty much going to be out of that opportunity to bid for that contract. So they need to align the responses exactly to the valuation criteria of marketing language, right? They're not trying to market themselves. They're trying to show that they are capable of winning this and actually operating that bid. And then gather relevant past performance and references. That's very important. And decide whether the bid as a prime, subcontractor, contractor, or even a team member. If this is their first time, we highly suggest that they try to go in as a subcontractor, build their business and their relevancy in the program.
Okay. Donald, what are you seeing as common mistakes that diverse businesses make when trying to win a contract?
What I'm saying primarily is they're not ready. They don't go in prepared. In other words, you have to go in prepared to try to win a specific contract. Means doing a lot of your homework, understanding the procurement language that's out there, so that you kind of understand and speak that language that the procurement officer or the purchasing person is going to be able to use. They don't target necessarily the right audience to go after business with. So you have to be able to understand who you're trying to reach and understand the vision and the mission at that specific agency so you can get an understanding of the organization, the players in the organization, those who are actually going to be responsible for not only the program side of things, but also who's going to be actually responsible for securing, the contractor itself. And they need to also kind of really understand, are they able and capable of handling the work that they're actually pursuing? So there is a readiness factor that's associated with that business or with that company that they need to assess themselves. Before you go after anything, are you capable of doing it? Do you have the resources to do it, the finances to do it, even the professionals and the staff capable of actually fulfilling that requirement? So that readiness piece is extremely important so that you don't chase things. Richard talked about the process of the bid and no bid. Well, those are a lot of decisions that will be made based on how ready you are and how you've actually read that opportunity in a way that it can benefit you when you go after it.
Thank you. So now that we talked about getting ready to compete and, why it matters, we're going to bring Morrelle McCrary back in because he has a real success story. So Morrelle, congratulations on Ramtech recently achieving the Minority Business Enterprise certification. Tell us what that milestone means to your company.
Thank you, Christy. That milestone is it was tough to achieve, but I'm glad I did it. To be honest, I was trying to look at how can I align my business and to be more competitive as well as, what's make us stand apart. So that decision was, hey, let me jump on and see if I can exercise this minority status and hopefully open some additional doors for the company.
So you also recently secured a contract tied to that certification. What did that opportunity show you about the power of being prepared and credentialed?
It almost made the conversation easy. Once they see the badge and, you get found in their database, the process was a lot easier than I expected. I'm used to a sales cycle that takes, 6 to 12 months, and the sales cycle for, that particular account was a month at best.
That's a great testimony for that. So really my next question is if you're talking to other business owners and they're wondering if the certification is worth it, your answer to that is?
I mean, 100% yes. It's not a cheap certification, but it's worth its weight because one client can pay for it, You get one client out of it, it's paid for itself for the whole year. And that's the approach I took at it, was let me jump in, see what I can find, what I can do. Now I will tell you, it's not for the faint of heart going through that process though, because you do have to give everything but a blood sample. I mean, it's a lot of digging and a lot of requests and back and forth, and they're really good at communicating, but I mean, they use terminology that I'm not used to every day. So I had to pretty much Google and find out what they were asking of me. But, they're very helpful through the process too. So the whole process, just kind of give you a time frame. I want to say it took me about 3 weeks of back and forth with them to get to the point of certification.
Wow. That is, to me, it's great to hear that even though it does take a little bit of time to get it, that just one sale can make it well worth your time to do it. And that's real world proof that doors can open when preparation meets opportunity. Donald, have you got one piece of advice for procurement leaders wanting stronger vendor pipelines?
Yeah, I think, well, I've got several because I've been on, a couple of sides of the fence there. But if these companies and organizations are trying to really strengthen the supplier base that they work with, they should provide a lot more outreach, for the qualified emerging suppliers. I put together programs specifically for that. And being able for those businesses to not understand their needs, but to build the relationships necessary that they can safeguard any of the opportunities that they're presenting. I think they need to invest a whole lot more on the development and readiness programs. They need to make sure that they can kind of segment these vendors by capability and not just by familiarity alone. Those are real big differences to those small businesses that actually improves the performance of those suppliers to those large supply chains. And I think finally, just kind of reducing the overall dependence on the limited number of incumbent contractors. That's always a barrier, whenever you want to stay with someone for so long that you shut out others who are trying to get an opportunity. So I think a lot of those suppliers can really do a lot of work within their own organization to kind of strengthen that camaraderie with the small business community or the suppliers that are providing the services to them.
Okay, thank you, Donald. Richard, if I was a small business owner, tell me the one thing I should do this month to become contract ready.
Most important thing is to make sure you got everything for just a basic business, right? Done, right? That's your business plan. Make sure it's solid. It says what you want it to say. Everything's in it. It's correct. It's on point and relevant to what you're doing. A lot of folks will use, past stuff and they keep adding to it, which is fine because it shows a history, which is good. But at the same time, they put stuff in this business plan that's not really relevant, or they found it on AI, or they found it somewhere and looked good, so they throw it in there. So always get someone to look at it, right? Get another person, another business owner, get SBDC, Donald, some of other folks involved, and look at it. Then those financials have to be correct. They're going to look at 2 to 3 years back, right? A new business coming in, it's going to be very difficult because they have nothing for them to look at or base their productivity off of. So if you're a new business thinking you're going to walk right in because you have certifications, you have, whatever it is that you think is going to get you this contract, going to be an eye opener, right? Because they're just not going to reach out to you because you're a minority owned, a woman owned, a veteran owned business that helps, right? But what's really going to be important is, are you qualified? And does your business plan say you're qualified? Do your financial support that you're qualified? And do you have a work experience, right? Usually 2 or more years showing that you're qualified to do participate in this particular bid.
Thank you. Tell me one encouragement for minority owned businesses trying to break through, Morrelle. What would you encourage a minority owned business that's trying to break through to do?
If you are a minority owned business trying to make a name for your brand, build your brand, I always say first and foremost, find a local chamber and join it, preferably Henry County Chamber of Commerce. But find a local chamber, get involved, and then start making those connections so that once you have those connections in place, you can just start building your brand and then start adding on additional layers. So we went after the minority business, certification first. Next is sam.gov. I actually just saw I had an email back from them. So that process is almost as lengthy as the minority business one too. So the next one after that is looking at some of these local county or local cities to work with them and open up those doors as well. So encouragement, do it because it's worth it. It's a lot of time, a lot of effort that goes into the process, but follow the process and complete it. It's worth it.
Thank you. Today's conversation shows that supplier diversity is not charity, it's smart business, economic growth, and an opportunity in action. Thank you to Donald and Richard and Morrelle for sharing your insight. And thank you for joining us for Community Dialogue, sponsored by Kaiser Permanente. And we'll see you next time.